The following program is underwritten by Barlow's Clam Shack, located at 856 Scenic Highway in Bourne. Barlow's Clam Shack, where the seafood is always fresh.
Hi, this is Kathy Fox Alfano. Welcome to Upper Cape Spotlight. Today my guest is Tom Cahir. Tom is the administrator for Cape Cod's Regional Transit Authority. Welcome, Tom. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Kathy, for having me.
We have so much to talk about. There is some exciting things that are going to be happening in Bourne really, really soon. The first thing you wanted to talk about was SmartDart. What is that?
Well, I think most folks around Bourne and elsewhere, know of the Regional Transit Authority, but we were created by the legislature. We're responsible for about 400 square miles, Cape Cod. We have 15 communities, and so we have to provide service, public transit for all those communities. And so we have about 130 buses running around traversing the Cape at all times during every day. So, and 7 fixed route services that go amongst, all the towns, but go through all towns. It's basically an hourly service. And recently, we developed in-house an app-based service called SmartDart, and we're going to unveil that to the entire Cape on June 22nd. It's been in place in Barnstable and Yarmouth for a few years now, 2 or 3 years, because when we first we developed it from our IT guy in-house, we were ready to unveil it to the entire Cape, but COVID came and things happened, so driver shortage, so we had to try a pilot for Barnstable and Yarmouth for a couple of years. And so last spring we expanded it into Dennis and Sandwich and Falmouth. And so this year I said, we do have sufficient vehicles and drivers now to do it Cape-wide. So on June 22nd, each town on Cape Cod, all 15 communities, will have their own SmartDart service where you get an app. You can download the app on our website and you can summon one of our vehicles. We will come and get you, hopefully within 30 minutes and take you where you need to go. But it's designed to be for short hauls within the town of Bourne. It can't go out of the community boundaries of the town, but each town will have their own SmartDart service. And so that will enable a customer to get to the fixed route if they want to go on down to the lower Cape or outer Cape or mid Cape with no charge or any transfer charge for any of that. So, and it's $3 per transportation trip. So it's very much like Uber and Lyft, except it's $3 per transportation trip, which is very, very reasonable. And our drivers are trained and professional, so you don't hear about periodic incidents that occur like in Uber and Lyft with a driver or something. So it's really a game changer for Cape Cod transportation. We're really excited about it. We're prepared for it, and we're going to do an aggressive marketing campaign in the next couple of weeks to let folks know about it. But I think it's a wonderful thing, and we'll see how it works.
So if someone who doesn't have a car or doesn't like to drive, they have to use an app. Can they make a phone call?
Well, we have other services in the Cape Cod RTA as well. We have, as I mentioned, we have fixed route. We have a Boston Hospital bus that goes to 18 Boston hospitals 4 days a week.
Okay.
We have what we call DART service, which has been in place for over 20 years. And that is a service where you call us up 24 hours before you need a ride.
Okay.
We average about 625 to 650 people a day. We come and get you and take you where you need to go. And that's the DART service. Okay. SmartDart is an app-based service where you summon us on the spot. We'll come and get you within 30 minutes. It's, we have, because DART's been in place for so many years, we have 600 people, a day, but many of them are regular users. So if they're going to the grocery store, or they're going to church, or they're going here or there, we have a gentleman, Dennis Foster, down at our operations center who knows when folks are going where, and he kind of bundles trips so that we can share rides and get people. And it's been an extraordinarily successful service, but it still requires a 24-hour, beforehand call to us. So SmartDart is just like an Uber and Lyft app.
Great, great. And it'll go across the bridge, yes?
Yep, all of the Bourne, 44 square miles of Bourne, and from Sagamore Beach to Katomet. So, yeah.
Great, okay. Look forward to that. Now, what is a Go card?
Well, for many years we've had in place what we call a Charlie card, and it's basically a card so folks can identify themselves when they get on the bus. And there's various pieces of it where if you're a senior, it points it out. If it's disabled, it points it out. It's a more sophisticated card that we've just also recently developed, and we're going around the Cape having folks register for the Go card, and then you'll just have to show it when you get on any of our buses, and they can see that you're a regular customer, and you can put funds on it if you need funds, although we do provide free fares on all our fixed route all the time for people 60 years of age or older, and disabled.
Okay.
But other than that, you have to pay $2 per trip. But yeah, so the Go card will be, and we've had over 2,000 people just in the last 3 weeks either come into our office to register, or we have a senior mobility manager within the Cape Cod RTA because of the very significant adult population we have on Cape Cod, older people, that I've sent Linda Landry, who's our great senior mobility manager, out to the various councils on aging, and I think that's where she met your producer and made us aware about the ability to come on your show. But we've been going out. Matter of fact, she's in Truro today, and she's been going to communities, and she registers people. She emails the information into our office. She gets a picture, and they have the Go card within 2 or 3 days. So it's just an opportunity for folks to let the bus drivers know that they have the card, they get on the bus, they have.
I see the bus going around town. It seems to mostly go to Mashpee Commons from here. What are the more popular routes within Bourne?
Well, as I mentioned, Kath, we have 7 fixed route services. We have the C line, which starts in Woods Hole and goes to Hyannis. We have the H2O line, which starts in Orleans and comes to Hyannis. We have the Flex route, which starts in Orleans and goes to Provincetown. We have the Crosstown in the town of Barnstable, which goes to an area of Barnstable. And we have the Villager in the town of Barnstable. And we have the Sandwich Run, which comes from Hyannis to Sandwich. And we have the Bourne Run, which goes from Hyannis to Bourne. So that's the service that you're talking about. You'll see a lot of our other buses, DART buses, running around because we have a lot of activity in Bourne. And also in Buzzards Bay, I give credit to the town because over the last decade, the town has really worked hard on making Buzzards Bay a more robust village.
Right.
And there's a lot of new development, a lot of housing, a lot of senior housing. It's really developed in a way that makes it a transit-oriented development. And ultimately, when commuter rail gets to Buzzards Bay, which we hope will happen someday with all the activity around the canal region, but in the interim, we've put much more regional transit authority service in Buzzards Bay. So not just SmartDart, which will be coming on the 22nd, but we already have SmartDart, we have fixed route, those are the buses you see traversing throughout the community. So yeah, Buzzards Bay has a lot of activity now. So we have on our website, which is capecodrta.org, very informative, easy to navigate. You can learn what the routes are and the locations. Primarily population centers around the Cape is where our main stops are, but there's a lot of different stops. And also you can flag down any of our fixed route service. So if you see our bus driver, you can flag us down. As a matter of fact, between 45 and 54% of our ridership on fixed route is flag down service.
Okay.
It surprises a lot of people, but
yes,
as long as, and our drivers are trained extensively, our company makes safety our highest priority. They're trained to pull over if it's on a safe spot. There's certain areas on the Route 6 and down the lower and out of Cape where you can't pull over safely, but most of Cape Cod you can. So you see us, flag us down, and we'll pick you up.
Is the SmartDart going to be using EV vehicles?
Excellent question, Kath. A very excellent question, because of the greenhouse gas emissions that emanate from Cape Cod, 55% of the greenhouse gas emissions come from transportation, as opposed to 40% Commonwealth-wide. So as a transportation leader, I have to be cognizant of that. So in the last 3 years, we've developed a 10-year strategic plan and a 5-year capital plan with a significant amount of investment in purchasing electric vehicles. Now, because of supply chain and other challenges, we haven't got as many as we anticipated at this time. As a matter of fact, we've even gone back in and amended the strategic plan to include some hybrids and even some fossil fuel vehicles, because it's going to be a while, I think, before the battery technology in EVs is sufficient. But we do have 20 in place, and we're going to be using those EVs on the SmartDart because, within the community, some of the lower and outer Cape communities aren't that, area-wise, aren't that big. Bourne, Falmouth, Sandwich, Mashpee, Yarmouth, those are larger communities. But we're going to be using electric vehicles primarily for our SmartDart. And we're working with the Cape Cod Commission to identify locations across the Cape where you can have charging infrastructure, because that's a challenge. Range anxiety is always a concern. But we're on top of the game there. We've been working hard, and we've got good folks and working with the Commission and our multimodal partners.
Excellent. Now, I understand that Bourne is considered an MBTA town. However, we don't have the MBTA here. The train right now does not come to Bourne. So how is it that we are an MBTA community?
Well, that's another good question, Kath. You've done your homework. But in my past, I served in the Massachusetts legislature for 14 years on the Transportation Committee, and then I became the Deputy Secretary of Transportation for 10 years in Massachusetts, and now I'm at the Cape Cod RTA. So transportation has been my thing for a long time, and I've seen a lot of changes happen at various parts of state government. One was when the MBTA, reconfigured their whole area of service, and they separated into 3 different services, and they have 175 of the 351 cities and towns are MBTA towns. And what identifies an MBTA town is if you have any service in that community, whether it's boats or trains or buses or any kind of MBTA service. And there's 175. The rest of the communities across the Commonwealth are served by regional transit authorities. So in the wisdom, the state legislature said, if you want commuter rail and you heretofore don't have it, or if you want MBTA service and you don't have it, you have to be a member of the MBTA.
Okay.
So Bourne, and Peter Meyer is the one who I know in Bourne who's worked probably the hardest on this issue over the years because he's been around, has suggested that we extend the Middleborough commuter rail line to Buzzards Bay. It's 18 miles, it's welded rail. Cape Flyer, which is a summer service, actually already runs on it, so there wouldn't be a lot of capital investment to get to Buzzards Bay. So we're still trying to do that, but the legislature, when they created those new districts, they said, if you are in an MBTA district and you don't have commuter rail boats, or you can offset that with RTA service. Because on the cherry sheet, I know I'm getting a little technical, but for those who work in municipal government leaders, they understand, on the cherry sheet, you're assessed, the town is assessed for its MBTA service and its RTA service. RTA service in Bourne offsets the MBTA service, so we don't have to pay any MBTA assessment. We're paying an RTA assessment, and because of that, you're getting a lot more service than you would otherwise. So they're not. It's a sound way to go. Although I still think, and I'm sure it will happen at some point, commuter rail being extended. But with all the activity going on with the canal bridge replacement and that kind of thing, I'm not sure it's a priority of the T right now. But I know Senator Moran and legislators from this area have been, trying to get that done. And Bill Strauss, who's the chairman of transportation, is from Marion, and he's supporting it. So it's going to happen eventually, but there's going to, as you know, Kathy, there's going to be a lot of activity in the Canal region over the next several years.
Yes, we're going to be the epicenter for
Yes.
the important things going on the Cape. You talked about the Cape Flyer. How is that going? I mean, when does it start?
Well, the Cape Flyer is interesting because this is our 11th year. We're starting this Friday night, and we have 2 stops in Bourne, Buzzards Bay, and one on the south side of the canal underneath the Bourne Bridge. And it's been an enormous success. We carry about 14,000 people a summer, 15 weeks in the summer, and we have a Steamship Authority bus and a Cape Cod RTA bus there for a seamless transfer to get to your final destination very efficiently. So we're very excited. The month of June, it's a $10 round trip to South Station to Hyannis for the month of June, and then we go, up to our regular cost in the summer months. But it's a great deal. You don't have to deal with the idea, and the objective behind it was always to get people in the metropolitan Boston area to the Cape without their cars, and that's where we've been successful. And it's been a wonderful service that one person on my staff, Kathy Jensen, has overseen that for the whole decade, and she does a remarkable job.
Wonderful. Okay, one of the big things here in Bourne is the bike path, the rail trail bike path.
Yes.
And I know you've been very involved with making this happen, and you got the $20 million to make it happen. Tell us.
I haven't been as that. I shouldn't get the credit for all the hard work that Ken Shetland and others have done. They've really, the Friends have really worked very, very hard. And but because at the RTA we have incredibly smart people who have done really good things, and we have a very fiscally responsible team, and we run a fiscally prudent operation. So we've been able to reach out to the steamship and Highline and develop partnerships that generated more federal funds from the FTA to our services, and because of that, we have enough money to be able to provide to the effort to make the Bourne Rail Trail happen. FTA, I called them a year and a half ago, and they said they encourage spending of federal stimulus dollars on bike and ped activity if there's bus activity in proximity to the bike path, and our buses run right by there. So that justifies our $20 million contribution. So I know that Ken and others in town have really been working hard. We've had meetings with the Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll. She came down to Bourne, and then we've met in her office a couple times, and also the Secretary of Transportation has come down to my office, and they both said the same thing. They said, we love this pivot from what Bourne has been doing to what you're trying to do. There are some issues that need to be resolved, and they're working on that. And Senator Moran in particular, I spoke with her just the other night, and she's talking and communicating with the Lieutenant Governor, and they're going to be convening a meeting soon to tell us where we are with it. So, I just think it's, I'm a rail guy. I've been a rail guy my whole public career, but that 6.2 miles of track really serves no meaningful purpose in my mind. There's no municipal waste going on the track, and to have that connection from Woods Hole virtually all the way around and ultimately to Provincetown would be a huge economic boom to the Cape and Bourne in particular. So we're sitting waiting for this next meeting to take place, but Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of Transportation are very supportive of what Bourne is trying to do. And I should say also Congressman Keating, who calls me every week and has for the last year about this, has played a very prominent role and lives near the bike track. So we'll see, but it's been a really great effort, and it's a really sound proposal on the part of Bourne, and the people in Bourne are really, there's always opposition to something, but there's minimal opposition to this. And if you look at the facts, there's no reason you shouldn't pull those tracks up and make it a bikeway.
We can't wait. How long do you think it will take?
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, the way Bourne was going, and they have a consultant, and they've gone about, they've gone not very far at all in all the years they've been working on it. And there are some very real environmental challenges, bridges that have to be replaced, abutters, land takings. I mean, realistically, it would be 50 or 60 years, if ever. I don't think it would ever happen the way they're going now. And it would cost upwards of 60, 70 million.
Right.
And I've been told by the people that have done all the hard work that, we could get this thing done in 5 years for $20 million if we went the route that we're proposing and make it a more beautiful, aesthetically pleasing pathway where there's no chain links, fences, and separating trains and things like that.
Right, right.
So it's a great deal, and a lot of great people in Bourne have really done great things with this.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming, Tom. This has been really educational. There's so much going on that I want people to know about.
Yeah.
So it's great. Thank you so much, and hope to have you again.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
This is Kathy Fox Alfano for Upper Cape Spotlight. Take care and keep watching.
The preceding program was underwritten by Barlow's Clam Shack, located at 856 Scenic Highway in Bourne. Barlow's Clam Shack, where the seafood is always fresh.